Okay, welcome back to Magic Realm on Tabletop Simulator. We are continuing right along with my sort of tutorial slash learning game that we're doing here. Last time we learned all about combat and how it's done, what all these little numbers mean, what these charts mean, how to do some very simple basic combats. And then I proceeded to do a combat against the mischievous imp of the statue, which is a really bad fight, something you would actively avoid for most characters. But for the purposes of learning, we went ahead and we did it. And we did eventually kill it, of course, because really the imp can't kill you, not directly. So he was pretty much destined to die, but in the process we got cursed in a myriad of ways. If I remember correctly, we got squeak, so we cannot hide, we cannot become hidden. We got ashes, so our gold is worthless. We can continue to accumulate gold, but it can't be spent and it's worth nothing. We got disgust, so our fame is worthless. Same thing, we can accumulate fame points for victory, but until we remove that, it's actually not worth anything. And finally, we got wither, which was probably the worst effect, really, in that we can't have any active effort. So we can't have any chits active that are... We can't have any of these that have the asterisk in our active thing. They're all fatigued. And we can't, even if we rested, we wouldn't be able to put them as active until we remove the wither curse. So we're covered in curses. It's pretty bad. Our really only option then to remove those curses is to go and spend a night at the chapel over there, which is a ways away. It's risky. If we could hide, it would be relatively safe, still a little risky. You know, of course, trekking across the world of Magic Realm is always a little risky, but if you could hide, you could play a little safer, and eventually you'd make it there, most likely. We can't hide, so this is going to be basically a gamble. We're just going to see how it goes. So, all right. Our path there, then, is going to involve going through Borderlands 3, 6, 1, then going into the High Pass and going across these 4, skipping across the Ruins, 5 and 3, and then ending at Dark Valley 4. Alright, so it's a little ways away, and there's some problems with that. Part of it is, of course, we don't know what's in those tiles. We don't know what kind of monsters are going to spawn, when they're going to spawn. One of those could be the Lost City. One of those could be the Lost Castle. Meaning that one of those could spawn just a whole gob of trouble. And you're almost guaranteed to encounter something. We can potentially run away, but only from really slow stuff. Only for stuff that's speed 5 or 6, which is... you know, not much. So yeah, really our best bet is just hoping that our dice rolls work out. So yeah, for the first one, we're going to be entering the cave clearing of 6, which, remember, that limits us to only 2 actions instead of 4, not counting our bonus move. So we can do 3 moves if we want, from 3, 6, 1. And that's what we're going to do. So write that down. Move Borderland 3. Move Borderland 6, move Borderland 1. That is going to be our turn. Let's roll the monster die. We're really hoping to avoid a 3 result here, the blue result. We got the Spider's Imp, which is kind of funny. I'll explain why at the end, but so we're going to do our move here, move here, move here. We're fine. Now, spiders and imps would spawn. And you can see that symbol is on the statue, because the statue is where the imp is. But you might say, Mangg, we killed the imp, he's dead. Aha. And if this were any other day of the week, you'd be right. You would be very right. monsters do not respawn, or they do not repopulate or anything. Once they're removed from this board and they're off that board, they're done. They're out there in the world, or they're dead. Unless on the last day of every week, so 7, 14, 21, 28, 28, yeah, well, yeah, 7, 14, 21, 28. So on the last day of each week, depending on the dice roll, those monsters will respawn and repopulate. So because it's the 7th day of the week, and we rolled the number 5, the imp is going to respawn, and then because we are in a tile where he could spawn, he will spawn. Now this isn't really a concern for us because he won't come directly to our spot. He instead goes to where the sight chit is. Sight or sound chit. So he goes there. Now, if we stuck around in the Borderlands another turn and that number came up again, then the imp would come right to us. But for right now, he's just sitting there. It's just a bummer he got respawned based on that one dice roll. But that's a good teaching thing, I suppose. So additionally, though, if we were not on the Borderlands, and it was the 7th day of the week, and we had rolled that imp would return to the board. He would return to the chart of appearances, and then because no one was on the Borderlands tile, he wouldn't actually go back to the statue. He would stay on the board, waiting for someone to end a turn here, and for his number to come up. So if other monsters were out on the board and it was their number that came up on the 7th day of the week, they would return to the chart of appearances over here. They would wait to be spawned again. So yeah, the 7th day of the week is sort of just a reset, but only for one of the 6 categories of monsters. So if instead I had rolled this, that imp would have stayed dead for at least another week, possibly the entire game. So it's just, you know, unpredictability in that. All right, so we did our move. That's resolved. We're going to be leaving the Borderlands, so we don't have to worry about the imp. All right, moving on to the high pass then. You might notice that a number of these clearings here are surrounded by triangles. That means that those are mountain clearings, and that's where there's a little bit of a thing to take note of. This high pass, well, actually, this high pass is a cave tile. So that's what that symbol means. That means the whole thing counts as a cave tile for the purposes of like monster spawning. But cave tiles can contain normal clearings. It can contain cave clearings, which are these darker ones. It can contain mountain clearings, which are these triangle ones. So for the purposes of movement and things like that, this symbol doesn't actually mean anything. And that works in a couple different ways. So let me find, like, here's a mountain tile, the crag. It's entirely consisting of mountain clearings, which is fine. Now that makes sense. But then you have the deep woods. The deep woods is a mountain tile, but it contains all normal clearings. These are not mountains. These are not caves. These are just normal. I mean, you can walk through them normally. But it counts as a mountain tile for the purposes of these chits. So it's, you know, a little bit of a tricky thing to try and realize what's going on. There's a differentiation between the type of tile and the type of clearings on each tile. So anyways, this is a cave tile, which you don't really need to concern yourself with. And we're going to be moving across mountain clearings. What that means is to enter any mountain clearing, whether coming from a normal one or coming from another mountain clearing, costs 2 movement phases, or 2 movement, you know, actions. So for me to move from here to here costs 2 movement. For me to move from here to here costs another 2 movement. For most people, that would be their whole turn. The Amazon does get an extra move, but only one. So I need 2 in order to move here. So all the Amazon can hope to accomplish here is getting there this turn. And one of her extra moves, her bonus move, can be used as part of that, leaving her with an extra action. So let's go ahead and do the pier result, I guess, just to try and, well, you know, there's no reason not to. I would normally hide, but I can't hide. So we're going to be moving. This is the high pass 2 and then 4. So move. Move. High pass 2. Move. High pass 4, and then we're doing a search action to try and peer. That's not a peer action. It's all wrapped up in the search. All right, so let's do our monster roll for the day. We got ourselves dragons. That's a number 1 result. Actually, that's not how you would record it, technically. You would record it as doing 2 movements just to get there. So however you want to, you know, write out your shit, but using a dash like that tells you that, okay, I did 2 move, I moved across 2 clearings, but they were mountain clearings. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We can move our token here, and now we're going to peer. So we're rolling on this peer table. Let me bring up the proper rules for this shit. Search activity. Peer and locate, blah, blah, blah. If he is in a mountain clearing, he can use the peer table to search any woods or mountain clearing in his tile or any adjacent tile. You cannot search from a mountain into a cave. Right. So from here, we can only look into woods tiles or wood or mountain tiles. Which means that these 2 are both cave tiles. So you can't... It's not even a matter of looking into... woods or mountain clearing. I'm sorry. I've never actually like peered before, so this is kind of a new. So it's not a matter of tile. It's a matter of the clearing. So for the ruins, we could be looking at most of these except for 6, which is a cave clearing. For the caverns, they're all cave clearings, so I can't look at any of that shit. I could look at any of these. And I could look at any in the ledges. But let's peer at the ruins. We have to specify one of the clearings, so let's just say 5 right there. And let's roll on the peer table. 2 dice, taking the higher one as usual. We got us a 5. So we get clues. Secretly look at the map chits in the tile searched, but do not cross any sites off your discoveries list. This means that I wouldn't be able to say, look at the statue and just roll on the peer table from here and try and discover the specific location of the statue so I could start looting it. That's not what peer does. But what peer does is lets us look at these things. So this doesn't really matter much for us because we're going to be moving through here anyways, and we don't know the result of the dice roll until we're in it, so it doesn't really matter for that sense. But if you were trying to scope out treasure, I could look at this and say, well, neither of these are treasure sites, so I have no interest in going to the ruins. Okay? So for us, doesn't matter either way, but I just wanted to demonstrate that that's how that works. So that's the end of our turn. So we're going to be flipping over these bad boys. And sure enough, we have the Lost City, which is very bad. We're probably going to die. So, all right. We have Smoke as the warning chit, which spawns dragons, of course. That's what I rolled. And for the Lost City token here, that means that this tile is a location of the Lost City. That doesn't really mean anything in itself, but what we do is at the start of the game, we set up a bunch of chits for the Lost City and for the Lost Castle. So now that we found the Lost City, we're taking this big pile, and all of these are going to get set up on this tile. All of them. So we have Howl 5, that's going here. We've got Slither 3, that's going here. We've got Patter 5, that's also going on the 5, so they're doubling up there. We've got Howl 4, which is right on top of us, and we've got Karn's 5. So the 5 clearing is loaded, but it does contain the Karns, which is a treasure spot. So you could try and loot from there, but there's a lot of potential for bad stuff, especially for us because we can't hide, so we're kind of screwed. All right. Basically, this is basically this is the end of the game. Basically, that's what this means. Because I guess let's play it out. I'll show you why it's the end of the game. Of course, primarily due to us being cursed. If we weren't cursed, it would not be the end of the game, and I wouldn't be sweating it overly much. Lost City either goes on like 1 or 3, I don't remember, but it doesn't really matter. All right. Now that that's all been revealed, we have to spawn monsters, depending on what's prowling. So if we had instead rolled a 4, the gray symbol there, you'll notice that none of these contain that color. None of them. So if we had rolled that instead, we would have been perfectly fine. We would have just been hopping and skipping out of here without a care in the world. If we had rolled any other symbol, though, there would have been trouble. There would have been trouble. And so since we rolled 1, we rolled the red symbol, which corresponds to dragons. We're going to be first dealing with the warning chit. So we have smoke. We have smoke C, because this is a cave tile. So we're going to go over here, look down this row, and look for smoke on a cave, which is right here. Lost City right there. So we're going to spawn the leftmost available thing corresponding to this column, which is this heavy dragon. So this heavy dragon is spawned by the warning chit, which means that it's going to be spawning directly on top of where we are, right there. All right. So that is our trouble. Then you continue on. You tick up, and you look for any other red symbol, which Slither 3 is going to be spawning something. So you go back to that row, and you're looking for Slither. And you can see Slither is going to spawn something, whether it's a mountain slither or a cave slither, it doesn't matter. So you spawn the next leftmost thing. So if the warning chit had been something else, if it had been like dank, it wouldn't have spawned a dragon this turn, and instead the slither token would have spawned this heavy dragon, which would have been great. But instead, the next leftmost thing here is this tremendous dragon, which is going to be spawned here. Now that doesn't really bother us because it's not on top of us. We would have another turn before it might attack us. But we do have a heavy dragon on top of us. So let's look at this bad boy down in our confrontation chart. So this is a heavy enemy, which means that you need to deal a heavy blow in order to kill it. And we obviously, well, if it were unarmored, we would be able to do that. Yeah, we would be able to do that, actually. We probably wouldn't be able to do it unscathed, but we would be able to do that. But since he's armored, he will ignore one of our sharpness, which means the most that I could get up to with my short sword is medium damage, a medium hit, which is not enough to ever kill him, ever. Okay, and that does not matter what side he's on. Regardless of the side, he's always a heavy armored dragon. So no matter what side, I won't be able to actually damage him enough to kill him. Not even counting, like, whether I can actually land a blow. That's not a consideration. I can certainly land a hit on this guy. I could even undercut him by using my deft gloves. I could undercut him left, right, and center. That doesn't matter because I'm just bouncing off of him due to his armor. So okay, I can't ever damage him, ever. In a billion years, you do a billion turns, nothing would ever change. I can't damage him. He can damage the shit out of me, though. He's got a heavy hit, which means that if he lands a hit on one of my on me, and it goes through my armor, it will instantly destroy the armor, and I'll take a wound, which at this point is pretty bad. If he flips over to the other side, he attacks with a medium hit, which would damage my armor instead of instantly destroying it, but eventually he would wear me down and I would die. Now, there is a way for us to survive this fight, and maybe you can think of a way that we could get past this fight and still stay alive. Maybe you can think of it. It was discussed last time, briefly. Now, there are actually two theoretical ways that an Amazon could get through this fight just fine. One of those is unavailable to us. One of those is still potentially available to us. The one way that you would normally do this and get away from this fight is, of course, running away. Like I said, many characters rely on running away from a lot of fights in order to just keep staying alive and just worry about looting treasure and stuff. But to run away, you need to play a movement with a speed faster than your opponent's speed. This dragon's movement speed is a 4. It's right there. It's a 4. The blue number, or the white number in blue. Which means that I would need to play a movement chit of a speed 3 or faster. So 1, 2, or 3. I do have movement 3s, but they're all fatigued because of the curse. I can't use any of those 3s. So the only ones I can use are 4, which is not fast enough. And if he flips, he actually gets faster. So in that case, if he were flipped, I wouldn't even be able to run away with my 3s. I would need a 2. So no matter what, I cannot run away from him, which leaves the other potential way that we can do this. And that's the rule where if nothing happens, if not absolutely nothing happens for 2 rounds in a row, the fight just ends and the night goes by. That is our only way of actually surviving this. And that's pretty much down to just luck of the draw. So let's play it out. I don't need to play an attack chit because it's completely worthless, so we don't have to worry about that. We are going to play a maneuver because otherwise, if we don't play the maneuver, he will undercut us every round and thus hit us every round, which is not good. That's not what we want. We're trying to duck and weave for 2 rounds to just hopefully avoid it. So our attack doesn't even matter. We're not doing any sort of attack because it will never do anything. So we don't have to worry about that. So all we're doing is playing this right here. And we can potentially, you know, take a couple hits, but hopefully the luck of the draw is on our side. So his tactics his tactics do matter, because right now if he hits us, he's destroying an armor. If he flips, he might just damage an armor. So let's just play this out. He rolled a 3, which means that he's going to be moving up here. Of course. Let's roll to see if he changes tactics. He rolled snake eyes, so no. It's all right. That goes through. He's intercepts us. He's on the same row as us. His attack speed of 4 matches our move speed of 4, so he doesn't undercut us. He's not faster than us. But he does intercept us, so he does hit the helmet, which will destroy it because it's a heavy attack compared to our medium helmet. And thus, we take a wound, which means that I have to move one of my chits over onto the wounded side. So let's move L4 to wound, and now we continue combat. So let's leave it as is. Let's roll the reposition. Something happened, so obviously that doesn't count towards that shit. But here you go. Movement 5. Reposition 5, I mean. So he's going to move here based on this little table. Then let's do the tactic roll. Again, you know, he has like a 30% chance. There you go. So he flips. So now, even if he hit us... oh, by the way, I should not have... I should not have kept it there because I'm unarmored here. Or at least I should have moved the shield like that. Alright, that's what you should have done. Because otherwise, if he had stayed there and hit us, we would have insta-died. So, yeah. Alright, but we got lucky there. So, he doesn't undercut us. His attack speed didn't change. It's still a 4, so he doesn't undercut us. We are not... Our fleshy bits are not here on this row. So, he doesn't intercept us, and he doesn't actually hit us. Alright, so that's good. So, that's one round. Actually, I think the tactic change might have been... something happening. I'm not sure, actually. I don't know if that's the case. Again, I've been playing a lot on the digital version where this is just handled automatically. Give me a second. Okay, so here's the specific ruling. If characters or hired or controlled denizens remain in the clearing, combat ends if there are 2 consecutive rounds in which no chits are fatigued or wounded, no armor is damaged or destroyed, no spells are cast, no characters, denizens, or horses are killed, and there are no dark side up tremendous monsters. Okay. That says nothing about tactics changing. So this is not a tremendous monster, so that doesn't matter with the whole dark side up thing. So yeah, that is one of our 2 rounds where nothing has occurred. Right, so if we get another one of those, we can end the combat and potentially get out of here with our lives. So let's roll again. We're going to keep our shield there. We're going to stay there. Again, it doesn't matter, really. It's a crapshoot. So let's roll this reposition. We're hoping for like a 4. Or a 1, actually. A 1 is perfect. So for a 1, nothing changes. Nothing happens on the top row. But the bottom 2 swap. I could roll tactics, but honestly, it doesn't matter because he is missing. And that is 2 rounds in a row where nothing has happened. So combat ends. For the day. See? There you have it. So even though I said that was game over, that was the end result. So, that is the end of the day. And we got through that little scrape with only 1 wound. And now a new day starts. And we might actually make it to the chapel. Because this is how monsters work once they're on your spot. I am not hidden, okay? At the end of each action, if you are not hidden... and there are monsters in your clearing, they will block the rest of your actions. For example, say the dragon was here and I was here, and I just moved in with the plan that I was going to continue to move here. As soon as my movement here ended, this dragon would block all the rest of my actions. My entire turn would be over. And I would be stuck here facing the dragon. Okay? So the dragon's here. I'm here. I'm not hidden. I can just move out of there. And the dragon won't stop me because you only get blocked at the end of each action. So I can move out scot-free. There's no rolls. There's nothing like that. It's over with, and I can continue on the rest of my turn because there's nothing else in my way. Now say, however, that I wanted to stay here because there was like the lair here. There was treasure to be had and I wanted to stay here, but I didn't want to fight the dragon. I would want to hide because once you're hidden, you can't be blocked. So I would want to hide while staying here. My first action of the turn would be to hide. If I succeed on that hide roll, I can do the rest of my turn however I want. I could keep searching in utter peace because I'm hidden and I can't be blocked. If, however, I failed that first hide roll, the rest of my turns, the rest of my action would be completely blocked. And I would be forced to just immediately end the turn and fight the dragon. Similarly, say that I was here with the dragon, I'm not hidden, I want to continue on to the ruins, but say this dragon was here. I would have one action to hide, and then the rest of my actions would be moving to try and get away. This is, of course, made difficult by the movement costs of being in the mountains. But if I succeeded on the first move, I'd be able to leave this dragon, move on to this dragon, and potentially move there if I had enough movement. Otherwise, if I end my turn here while hidden, this dragon won't attack me either. So you can basically dance around and hang out with monsters as long as you succeed on your initial hide for each turn. If you don't, you're going to be facing them. So we're just moving away. We're not planning to stick around, so I don't even have to worry about hiding because I can't hide anyway, so it doesn't matter. So our plan is to move to High Pass 1, followed by High Pass 5, and then using our bonus move, thank goodness, to move into Ruins 5, which is not a mountain thing, so it doesn't cost 2, it just costs 1. So we can use our 5 moves to get the hell out of Dodge. So alright, let's write that down. Move High Pass 1, move High Pass 5, and then move Ruin 1, was that 1? Might have been 1? 5. Right. That is going to be our planned turn. This, of course, can still go awry based on the chits that are in the ruins section and based on the prowling monster die. So let's roll that. We got us a 1, which is dragons. So if I was sticking around in this place, no matter where I ended my turn here, I'd be attacked by both the heavy dragon and this tremendous dragon. But we're getting the fuck out of here, so we don't have to worry. We're going to here, then to here, and then to here. And again, I wrote this wrong, because this would really be... This would be... this. Alright. So, that was our move. Move's all done. We got 1 dragons for the prowling monsters. So we leave those dragons behind. But here, we have bones. Bones C for our warning chit, which means that this will spawn trolls. If they are ever prowling and we're around here, that'll spawn trolls. And then for the sight or sound chit, we have roar. So that'll spawn either trolls or dragons. Now here's the thing. You might say, oh fuck, man, you rolled dragons. That's dragons. Oh, dragons! Well, don't fret. Do not fret, and I'll tell you why. Because if we look over here at roar, we see it right here in this Lost City column. And what ho! There are no dragons here. That's because they're already on the board. Over here. These dragons are not going to fly across tiles to get to you. They're staying where they are. You don't have to worry about them. So since there's nothing left to spawn, you don't go over into other sections. You don't borrow from other sections. Once there's nothing left in this section that you're drawing from, that's it. So this doesn't spawn anything. On the flip side, even if it had spawned a dragon, it would spawn it on this clearing, which wouldn't bother us this turn anyways. But yeah, nothing is going to spawn there. And that can actually really work to your advantage, especially when playing with other people, where if they go earlier in the turn, they might draw away, they might spawn all sorts of bad stuff that you might have drawn on your turn, but you can do your turn without a care in the world. So all right, that's that turn. And now our next turn, we're going to be moving to Ruins 3, and then we're going to Dark Valley 4. And there, we're going to meet with the Order, who we're neutral with. We can potentially buy stuff from the Order, so we are going to look at what they have for sale as far as treasure cards. The armor and weapons they sell are all heavy stuff, which we can't really use because we can't even carry it. We don't have a heavy movement thing. If we had a horse, we could carry it, but then, you know, we wouldn't really be able to... It wouldn't be good. I mean, we'd have one fight chit to try and use a heavy weapon, so that's not good. Right. So we're going to be moving to, we're going to trade. And then if we didn't find anything to buy, we could spend our money instead on hiring a knight of the Order to follow us. This is probably not going to happen because they cost 8 gold by default. They cost that much because they come with their own horses. And horses are very useful. So we could try, but honestly, it's the likelihood of it happening are very slim. If you were friendly with them or allies with them, you'd have a much better chance, but yeah. So okay, move Ruins 3, Dark Valley 4. Let's write that down. Move Ruins 3, move Dark Valley 4, trade, trade. You could do another one in case we really wanted to get pushy, but it honestly doesn't matter. We're basically there just to remove our curses. Oh, we can't even spend gold anyways. So honestly, it doesn't matter. We can't spend gold. I think we can still trade. I think we can still do a trade action, but we can't actually buy anything. So we'll just do the trade action just to look, and that'll be our shortened turn. So, all right, we can roll this. It doesn't matter. Nothing is going to spawn where we're going, so whatever. We move here. We move here. Finally made it to the chapel. I can't believe it. And our helmet was destroyed. So this is actually going elsewhere. I assume we picked this up from the house. Yeah. Or we could have, maybe we picked it up. Oh yeah, we probably picked it up here. It doesn't matter. When, you know, your starting equipment can be drawn from any of the starting dwellings. You don't have to start at the dwelling in order to get that starting equipment, so that's fine. Okay, right. We're looking at what the Order has to offer us. We get to look at these 2 cards. Get this shit off. All right. Haha. We have the Power Gauntlets. The Power Gauntlets. Which are pretty nice. Not especially useful for us, but the Power Gauntlets are worth 3 fame, 4 notoriety. They have a value of 7 gold for, you know, buying or selling purposes. And all they do is provide an H4 chit. The nice thing about that, of course, the H4 in itself is not like insane. I mean, we have an H4 chit, but ours has 2 effort asterisks on it. And keep in mind, any stage of combat, any round of combat, you can only play a total of 2 of those asterisks. This one has no asterisks, so this costs no effort, and it can never be fatigued. So you always, as long as you have the power gauntlets, you always have access to a no effort H4 token, which isn't too shabby. Again, it's not something we'd want to spend our money on because we don't have enough money, and we're not going to buy a heavy weapon ever, so it is what it is. But for other characters, potentially very good. The other item is the Map of the Lost City. -1 on locate when on tile with the Lost City. Now, we've actually located the Lost City tile. We know it to be this one. Which means, essentially, if you owned that map, and you were on, say, the cairns here, right here, and you were trying to find the exact location of the cairns, on the locate table here, when you remember this, you needed a 1 or a 4. For every dice roll you did while trying to locate that, you would subtract 1 from each one. So this would actually find it on the first roll because we'd subtract 1 from 5 to get 4, and that's the result you need to actually cross it off your discovery list. So if you're thinking, wow, that seems pretty situational, you're right. It very much so is. So generally, if you find this in the wild, it's just going to be sold for 3 gold. It's not a great treasure. It's not worth any fame or any notoriety. It's very just minor 3 gold kind of thing. It's pretty shit. So all in all, neither one of these very useful for us, and we won't be purchasing any of that. We do have to roll because we might piss somebody off. We got us a 5, which is no deal, so that's the end of our turn. And now, since it's midnight and we ended our turn on the chapel, we remove all our curses. All gone. We're back in business. So now, from this point, we'd have to really evaluate our game plan. There are the cairns. There are the cairns here, right? That's the only visible treasure site, you know, that we are aware of. There is the statue, which does have some treasures there, but we do not want to get involved with that again. So there is the cairns. And over here, if you look at the cairns, you can see that there are 7 treasure cards in that stack. It's a fat stack of treasure, but you do have to fatigue after each search. So every time you even make a search roll for the cairns, you have to fatigue a chit. Which is, you know, rough. Also, the cairns is guarded by this tremendous spider. So that spider will eventually show up whenever you roll the purple symbol there. And we can't actually kill the tremendous spider because, then again, we need a tremendous hit. The best we can hope for is a heavy hit. And we can't even run from the spider because it has a speed of 3. And the best that we have is a 3. Now, if it's on the other side, it has a 4. So then we could run from it. But we'd have to first take the medium hit. Tremendous monsters don't roll for flipping. They only flip once they make a hit. So once they hit you once, they automatically flip to their dark side. And the dark side has this lovely skull symbol on it. And that means if they hit you a second time, it's an insta-kill. No matter what. The thematic thing of this is that basically the first hit is them picking you up because they're so big, and then the second hit is them just like ripping you apart or just consuming you. So it's fine because with this, actually, I don't think we can, actually, I think when you're picked up, you can't run away. So that would be especially bad. That would be a guaranteed kill. If we encounter this spider, we are dead. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. So that's great. That's not even mentioning all the rest of the nonsense that's on this tile, just for the cairns. So we don't really want to spend time there. And it's going to be dicey enough as it is just moving through it. And move through it we have to. There are no other options. We went to a dead end. So, our plan then is to just try and get through the high pass by going back the path we came, all the way back through here, back to the Borderlands. And then from the Borderlands, we'll probably just skip over straight into the caves and scout those out. And then if those look bad, then we'll probably... I don't know. Maybe make for the ledges, but we'd have to find this hidden path first, which could take a while with the imp there. It's a little iffy. Especially being in the caves, you only get 2 actions. So probably instead making for the mountains. Seeing what's there. If that doesn't work, make for the crag, I guess. And then by that point, the game will probably be over. So let's just see what we can do. All right, so first, we're getting out of here. This is going to be 1 movement, 2 movement. This is 2 more movement in order to move on to number 5 here on the high pass, because it's a mountain. So that's a total of 4 moves, and that would leave me 1 extra action, which to hide. At this point, we are doing really not too well as far as our victory requirements is concerned. We've killed 1 thing, the imp. So we have 2 fame, 1 notoriety, and essentially we're in negatives for gold. We're like negative 30, 35, or whatever that number was for our gold, because we have not accumulated any money. We could sell our deft gloves, but I don't want to do that. So we have no great treasures. We have 2 fame, or 1 fame, 2 fame. We have 1 notoriety, and we're in the hole for our gold. So we're doing very poorly, considering that it's now day 11 out of 28. Not looking too hot. Also, we lost our helmet, which sucks. So we're gonna have to play a little riskier now in order to just try and get some victory points, because if we die, it doesn't matter, because it's not looking great anyways. So now we get to play a little bit riskier. So we're going to do 1 hide action, and then we're going to be moving on to high pass 5. Now I think playing solo, we could shorthand that quite a bit. But for just learning purposes, we'll do a hide. Then we do move rune 3. Then we do move rune 5. That's not Maroon 5, that's move Ruin 5. And then finally move High Pass 5. And move High Pass 5, because it's a mountain. Okay, that's the move there. Let's roll our monster die, let's see what we got. We got us number 3 there, Ogres, Wolves, Goblins, Octopus. Let's roll our hide. A lot rests on this, basically how long this game's going to go on for. We got a 2 and a 3. So for hide, like I said, as long as you don't roll a 6, you succeed. So we are hidden. And we're going to move here, and move here. Alright, so even though we're hidden, monsters are still prowling, monsters are still popping off. So we're going to look around for what blue stuff we got. Starting with the lowest number, so the Howl. We've got Howl here. We're gonna look over Howl in a cave. Yep, so the goblins with axes are going to be spawning where that Howl is. Right there. So you got six goblins with axes, plus the dragon on that clearing. All right. Then next we go over to Catter 5 and Howl 5. Again, both of that's listed. So the goblins with the spears and the goblins with the greatsword are all going to be spawning right on top of us. Great. Thank you, tabletop. All right, so that's all there. So we are currently on a clearing with 12 enemies that could easily shred us apart. How exciting. But we're hidden. It's all good. For now. So at this point, I could choose to ambush one of them. And at that point, I would become unhidden. And then 11 or 12, if I fail to kill it, 11 or 12 goblins would come kill me. I actually wouldn't fail to kill it because I do have that nice L2 chit, so I could undercut them and kill one, but then, yeah, the other 11 would then mob me and I would die. So we're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to start the next turn. Remember, we're going to start the next turn unhidden. We can move. So we could hide immediately, but that would be stupid, because if I fail that first hide, I'm blocked and I'm dead. So we want to move here first where there's no monsters and I can do stuff without risk of being blocked. So we're going to move high pass. What is that one? Shit. Sorry. Move high pass 1. That's step 1. Move high pass 1. Move high pass 1. Then we're going to double hide. Maybe not. Maybe not. Because if I really want to move through here... Well, it depends on how safe you want to be, I guess. I could go one step at a time. Which might be a bad idea, or might not. We have the extra move, but we're spending 2 moves to get there. To 1. I have to spend another 2 moves to get to the next step. So I could either just wait here and hide. Hide. 3 hides, which would almost guarantee my successful hiding, and I'd be safe for the rest of the turn. Or I could do 1 hide and try and move and end up there, which if I'm successful, we can get out of the high pass next turn, which is great. Rather than spending potentially, 3 turns here. If I'm not successful on that 1 hide roll, it's game over. I mean, that's the gamble. That's the decisions you sort of have to make. Ultimately, I think for the purposes of just continuing this tutorial session going, we will play it extra safe. So we're going to do the 1 move and then triple hide. Let's do our prowling stuff. Alright, we got that, which is going to be spicy. I'm going to move here, and now we're going to roll our 3 hides, which don't guarantee success. But we did get a success. Very nice roll. So we're hidden. Now, blue is prowling. There's nothing else to spawn here. We don't have to worry about anything more coming. But all the things are now going to prowl directly where we are. Okay, I feel like I picked up something along the way. Hold on. There it is. All right. So that all comes. This is, I mean, just get it all in. Just, there you go. This is, yeah, it can happen. It's obscene, but it can happen. So there you go. There's our giant pile of monsters, which are all trying to find us. And we are hidden. So for today, I don't have to worry about shit. That's tomorrow's problems. And tomorrow's problems they are, because now I have to take the risk. I can't move and then hide because the dragon is here and he didn't move. So he's right there. If I move onto this space without being hidden, I will be insta-blocked and he'll fight me. And I didn't rest, even though I probably should have, because now I can rest. I didn't rest, so... But even then, if I had rested to try and run away from this dragon, it would be stupid. Because I told you that if you move into a fight and try and run away, the only way you can go is back the way you came, into this orgy of goblins. I wouldn't be able to run away in this direction. So, yeah. I have to hide, and then I have to make my double moves to end up on high pass 2. So, high pass 4, high pass 2. And we're going to write that down just like this. Hide. Move, high pass 4. Move, high pass 4. Move, high, pass 2. Move, high, pass 2. Alright. Let's see what's prowling, just for shits and giggles. We've got trolls, so actually nothing will move this turn on this high pass. And it all comes down, the whole game comes down to this roll. That's Magic Realm. There you go. That's a successful hide. So I stay hidden, I move here, I move here. Nothing is going to spawn, because that's what I said, the one thing that can't spawn here, that symbol didn't come up, is the trolls. So we're all fine there. That's the end of the turn. And so now we can continue on. We're trying to get, like I said, to the caves. So we can do one move here, one move here. And that limits us to 2 actions, but we do have our bonus move. So bonus move here, and then let's hide in the caves. Cave 5, Borderlands 1. Alright, so move Borderland 1, move Cave 5, and hide. Let's see how that goes. Alright, we got spiders and the imp. If we were ending in the Borderlands, the imp would attack us, but fortunately we're not. So we're moving here, let's try and hide. It might not be necessary for us to be hidden, but it's always nice. Alright, that's funny, but alright, we are not going to be hidden. We have Dank C as it's known, as our warning chit, and the vault is here. The vault! Ho ho! So nothing is going to spawn, we don't have to worry. And next turn, we can start working on the vault and maybe find some glorious treasures there. Because as you can see, there are 5 straight up treasures in the vault. Actually, can't even open the vault, I lied. Fuck. Alright, I'll tell you why next video. I'm going to leave it off here. My food's about to arrive, and this has been a good, solid video. I showed you how complicated it can get with all sorts of monsters, but as long as you stay hidden and do things right, you can get past them. We had a combat end without anything happening after 2 rounds. We got rid of our curses, and we're back on the track for more treasure. But alrighty. My name is Mangg. This has been Magic Realm. And I'll see you fine folks in the next part.